All right, guys and girls, there she is. This is the 2020 Himiway Cruiser, the step-through model, and I promised I would come back with a performance video for you, comparing the performance of this bike to the Rad Rover step-through bike. So I've got all those video clips now for you, and we're going to get into that, but there's some things I want to tell you right up front. So the first thing is that we did all of our normal tests that we do. We did a top speed pedaling the bike as fast as I could pedal it. We did an acceleration test from 0 to 20 miles an hour. We did a downhill, well, not really downhill. So I like to do this top speed run, throttle only, in this little quiet neighborhood. It starts out kind of level and then it drops to a kind of a decline. It just seems like it's a good representation of realistically how fast you could get this bike to go on just the throttle alone. So we did that test. We did a hill climb test, pedaling the bike. And then we also did a hill climb test with throttle only. And we did that with both the Himiway and the Rad. And I'm going to give you some side-by-side video comparisons of that. Another thing that I do want to point out is I put my phone actually up next to the display on both bikes and started my GPS speedometer so you can get, I guess a backup reading. So you'll see the speedometer on the GPS on the phone, and you'll see the speedometer, of course, on the bike. And I'll let you decide which one you want to believe is accurate, the wheel sensors in the bike or the satellite in outer space. Now, another thing I want to mention is the hill climb test when I'm pedaling. I want to kind of explain this a little bit. So when I do those pedaling hill climbs, I'm just moving the pedals with my feet, just trying to keep up with the bike and just get a little bit of resistance back from the pedal. I'm not actually pushing on the pedal and trying to make the bike go faster. I'm just kind of trying to keep up with the bike so that the pedal, the cadence sensor is running and delivering, telling the motor how much power to give me. So, I did this before when I did the performance test on the electric XP versus the Rad, and people were commenting like, oh, you were pedaling so much harder on the electric. And no, I wasn't. So there's a couple things that factor into that. So the first is, for instance, the cassette on this bike and the one on the Rad step through that I have, they're different. They're different gearing. So even though I'm in the same gear, maybe gear 4 or 5, whatever I used, it could be a sprocket with a different number of teeth. So that could cause your feet to go faster. And the other big thing is that it's just a more powerful, faster bike. So as it goes faster and faster up the hill, I've got to pedal quicker to keep up with it. But on either bike, I'm not putting anything into the pedals as I pedal uphill. So I hope that's the best as I can explain it. I guess you're just going to have to ride one to understand what I'm talking about. Okay, and the next thing I'll mention is I don't know exactly what class this bike is. I'm going to guess it's a class 3 because I can pedal it over 20 miles an hour extremely easily. So where the Rad is a class 2. Now they both come shipped to you as class 2 20-mile-an-hour bikes. But I believe, once you go and unlock the speed on this one, it probably makes it a class 3. So you might be asking, okay, well, of course this one's more powerful. It's a class 3. Why are you comparing this to the Rad bike then? Well, I'm comparing these two because these are basically head-to-head competitors. If you're looking for a 750-watt fat tire e-bike and you want something, like 26-inch wheels, these two are probably on your list, right? Yeah, surely you've come across them and you're probably considering both because they're even similar price points as well. So I think it's a really good comparison. Same with electric XP and the Mini I did the test on, that's class 2 versus class 3 e-bike. However, they're basically direct competitors. If you want a 20-inch fat tire bike, you're probably looking at a Rad Mini or possibly an electric XP. So that's why I did that comparison. That's why I'm doing this one, because this is head-to-head competition here, and I want to see, what you get for your money performance-wise out of these bikes. And interestingly enough, actually, I messed this up on my last video if you watched it. If you haven't seen the initial comparison video of this to the Rad, go check that out. A lot of good detailed information in there. It's kind of long, sorry, but there was a lot to go over. But I messed up the price on the Rad. They actually increased the price. I didn't even know it. They bumped it up another $100 recently. So whereas this Himiway comes in at, I think it's $13.99, the Rad is, I believe, $15.99. So it's $200 more expensive for the Rad. Plus, they don't give you the rack. These guys give you the rack. So that's, if you want a rear rack, that factors in as well. So it could be, $270 more. All right, well, I think that is all I've got to tell you right up front. If you've watched my videos before, you know I don't give you much fluff here, so let's just jump into what you came here to see, and let's check out the side-by-side video clips of these two bikes doing those tests. Two, one, go. Three, two, one, go. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, kicked in. All right, now we're gonna do the hill throttle only. Here we go. You can tell by how slow we're going, this actually is a hill. And this is dying fast. 9 miles an hour, 8. Yeah, it's working for sure. It got you up the hill though. It made it. It wasn't strong, but it made it. Okay, there you go, 13, 14, somewhere in that area versus 9 on the Rad. So this just has a stronger output of power. Maybe it's the motor, maybe it's the controller, maybe it's both. I don't know. Let's go keep up with these cars. No problem. 25-mile-an-hour traffic, no sweat. All right, well, I hope those video clips were helpful in illustrating the power differences between these bikes. The Himiway just is a more powerful bike. You know, it's not mind-blowingly different, but it is stronger up the hills for sure, and it's faster with the throttle, and it's faster top end speed. It's just got a little bit of a performance edge. Now, I will say this though, the Rad has a very, very smooth power delivery. I don't know how many times I've said this in my videos, but that's the best way I can describe it. The Himiway is a little bit more raw, a little bit less refined. You know, when the cadence sensor catches as you're pedaling, and it's like, oh, you want to go? Let's go, and it takes off like crazy, right? The Rad doesn't do that. The Rad's never going to put you off balance. So I guess it comes down to what you're looking for. Do you want a little bit more speed and power and hill climbability, or do you want that really smooth, refined feel? Those, to me, are the biggest differences between the bike. If you look at the regular model of each, not the step-throughs, they're almost identical. They look the same. They could be confused for each other, really. All right, so the Himiway is just, you know, it's a little bit stronger performer in the power department, that's for sure. Maybe someday, maybe, I will open up the back end of this and look at the motor inside and see exactly what's in there and do a comparison. I gotta find a time to do that. But, all right, now there's one other thing I wanna mention about the power delivery on this bike. And I said it in the last video where you can go in the screen here and you can set it to give you pedal assist 0 through 5 or 0 through 7 or 0 through 9, however many levels you want. And you can also set the amount of power in each level. I've already mentioned how the motor is kind of, it's on and off. There's no gradual to it, right? And if you're in a high pedal assist and you're at a low rate of speed and you start pedaling and it kicks in, it can really take off on you. So much so, when I went into the settings actually to look to see what they were programmed at from the factory, it was actually set to give me in pedal assist 1 like 45% of the motor's power in pedal assist 1. So when I was just starting out, the thing, it would kick in and you just fly off the line, and that's why it was just giving you tons of power in pedal assist 1. So I backed it down. I actually turned it down to I think like 20 or 15 or something like that. Something to think about if you do have this bike. Maybe turn that down if you don't like that. But I'll give you an example here. We're dead stopped and I've got it in pedal assist 3. I'll start pedaling and you can just watch it as it catches and kicks in. I mean, I'm not putting anything in. It just runs up to 15 miles an hour like crazy. What I was having an issue with was I was approaching an intersection, just coasting like this, and then your feet kind of gradually just kind of naturally pedal, and then all of a sudden you're taking off toward the intersection. It can catch you off guard. So, but it's great that you can actually go in and fix that and change it so it doesn't give you so much power right off the bat. But there you go. I am running out of daylight here, so I got to get home. But I think that's all the information I got to give you regarding performance on this bike. I hope it was helpful. I'm going to do a whole bunch more videos on this Himiway Cruiser. So if you want to see more about it, just hit subscribe, hit the bell. That way you'll know when I'm putting more videos out. If you're interested to know more about this bike, watch my first comparison video. There's a lot of good detailed information in there. Or head to Himiway's website and check out all the specs there if you need that. If you have a question you want me to answer about the bike, put it in the comments. I'll try to get to as many of them as I can. Or if you have a Himiway bike, comment and let me know what you think about the power delivery on this bike and how does it compare to any other e-bikes that you've ridden. Well, hopefully you found some useful information in this video, or at least found it entertaining. That's one of the goals of my channel, is to get some useful information out there on e-bikes, and then also to maybe inspire you to get out on one. There are a ton of fun, so go find one, go ride it, check them out. You'll have a blast, trust me. You'll get addicted like I am. I now have like 4 of them, and I'm sure there's more to come. All right, well, thank you so much to everybody that watches and also comments and leaves useful, helpful comments in the comment section. I love that. So appreciate you, and stay tuned to watch me do some more on this Himiway bike.